Warframe's always receiving new players. One day, to your ecstatic surprise, a friend agrees to give Warframe a shot. You have your very own brand new rookie walking the path you know so well. Too well. What frames can you use to bring them into the game at their pace? I'm TheKengineer, let's solve a practical problem. The first few missions are crucial in a new player's experience. Too easy and it can be boring. Too hard and it's frustrating. Too complex and it's intimidating. It's a tough balancing act. Luckily you, as a fellow player, don't have to manage most of that. It's DE's job. As the rookie's friend, you're their inspiration and guide. Now, as tempting as it is to let loose a room nuke Saren at level 1, or obliterate speedrun records with Titania, that's usually not going to help anything but your ego. Not to say you can't ever use them with low level players in the squad, but they shouldn't be your first choice. Let's walk through a process of escalating support and team play you can bring to your friend's game. Stage 1, the false starter. Your rookie friend has had to pick from Mag, Vault or Excalibur. Which one they pick doesn't really matter here, it's just that's what they're working with. For the very first support role, let's match that energy. Bring your own Mag or Vault to support them. This is the false starter, bringing a starter frame, but definitely not built like one. I'd broadly suggest Vault as the more all-round supporting frame. Vault can be used to give a nearly invisible damage buff from the Shock Trooper augment, a very visible movement, reload and melee speed buff, a defensive shield with damage buffs, and a shield regeneration buff with capacitance while nuking. You can juggle these buffs to match your friend's situation, giving them as much or as little as they express a desire for. A build like this will give you the means to support them in all 4 of these ways, utilising no subsumes to ensure you're showing them a simple Vault rather than one that introduces too many new concepts. Notably, this has high starting energy, so you can provide immediate support of all types, double augment for full features, and both arcanes are ones which buff allies. Otherwise, it's enough strength, range and duration to be simply effective. However, if your friend picked Vault to start, bringing your own Vault will make their one feel rather pointless most of the time. What good are their own abilities when you're just better? If that's the case, let's bring a support Mag. She can pull enemies around, but at very low levels, she's more likely to kill them in the process, which makes this less supportive. Instead, her greater utilities are in magnetized bubbles to conspicuously control enemies and allow your friend to tear into groups easily, alongside Polarize for a measured shield restoration and damage dealer. If your friend wants you to speed up the mission a bit for them, such as a defense mission that's beginning to drag on, that's when you activate Crush and demonstrate the power of offensive casting. Crush usefully does not need line of sight, making it very useful on those pokey maps like Earth's defense map, where enemies are often close by but obscured by dozens of terrain pieces. A setup like this allows you to have a large range for her effects, while leaving most of the strength on her 4th ability. You're less likely to outright kill enemies with your support casts, but retain the ability to clear the low levels of missions in single 40-meter radius bombs. For both of these setups, I've chosen the Arcanes, Arcane Energize and Molt Reconstruct as supportive elements. These will not only buff you, but also buff nearby allies, allowing you to provide health and energy almost invisibly to your friend. Warframe's more fun where you can cast your abilities, and energy economy early game is particularly weak. It may be tempting to use a focus call to support this, but for many people it can be a bit too revealing of the story. Many new players won't put 2 and 2 together just from launcher art, so hiding the nature of our 5th ability can be a good idea. If however you know your friend is already past that reveal somehow, Xeneric for energy or Vazarin for defense can be great supportive pickups. As your friend finds their feet, it's time to step up the variety of your support. No more starter frame limitations, let's give them a taste of power. Stage 2, the Ubercharge. For those who somehow missed the amazing world of Team Fortress 2, the Ubercharge is the medic class's mega buff they can give to a teammate during a match. It is a game-changing effect, the nature of it depending on the type of support they chose to bring. You can do the same in Warframe. 2 options for that are Wisp and Harrow. Wisp is the most obvious case. Her modes allow her to provide long-lasting, very powerful buffs to allies in the form of maximum health, healing, movement speed, and fiery buffs. You can also use the opportunity to teach your friend that not every buff needs to be used, such as not using the shock mode where it would otherwise slow missions down needlessly. While working through this low level, you'll also be able to use Wisp's Soul Gate in a way that actually kills enemies. You bring the cool factor to your supporting role, and conveniently forget to mention how horribly this ability falls off at later levels. With this setup, you can gift your friend all the buffs, including the buffs from Subsume Nourish, to yet further bolster the damage and energy income. This isn't designed to be particularly good or efficient in high level missions. Rather, it's to provide overwhelming support where you can choose on the go just how much you activate. However, for something less passive and less visibly overtuned, you can specialize your support with Harrow. Harrow at first glance is a bit of a selfish frame. He wants kills to feed his kit, and much of his kit is focused on feeding him. You can't share the shield restore of Condemn, nor the fire rate buff of Penance. However, you can innately share the effects of Covenant, the energy restore of Thurible from your own kills, and the healing you create with Penance. With an augment, you can extend those benefits to your friend getting kills on condemned enemies to allow them to generate the energy and healing from their own guided actions. Harrow's Covenant brings the unique feature of absolute critical chance buffs too. This creates a golden opportunity to teach your newbie that critical chance doesn't just get silly high in this game, it goes above 100%. They still need to aim for the head, for 3/4 of that buff, so they're still doing their share of the gameplay and getting suitably rewarded by your frame. I would suggest building Harrow like this to grant that array of buffs, and otherwise allow you to vibe along with your rookie friend enjoying their murder spree. The addition of warding Thurible means you can also give them 90% damage reduction while you're busy recharging. Don't forget that Harrow's passive means he starts a mission with full energy, allowing you to immediately get into the swing of things. This is less broadly powerful than Wisp. That lower power can actually keep things more interesting. It's also a bit more engaging for you rather than set and forget buffs. There are other frames which can fill similar roles here. For example, Citrine's abilities include orb generation, critical bonuses on crystal growths, healing and damage reduction. A prismatic gem might be a bit overkill at lower levels however, given the impression of your abilities stealing the kills. In any case, the point here isn't to list all possible supporting frames, but to show you the kinds of Ubercharge roles you can take. With your friend happily into the flow of Warframe, they'll want to start grinding out their own new frames and get into better gear. This inevitably means them discovering the true meaning of the word grind. Stage 3. The Farmer. What's an Orokin cell? They say to you on voice chat. Where do I get plasters quick? They ping in a private message. How the hell am I supposed to farm Tellurium? They ask calmly. It's time to take the support buffs from the intrinsic to the extrinsic. I mean, sure, you can still buff their damage or tank along the way, but they yearn for the looter side of the looter shooter now. Show them this power with the choices of Necros and Korra. Necros is a staple of the farmer meta, and a part of this is how little he actually needs to function. Despoil augment and range is enough to activate the core function of 54% extra loot. Given how little is needed to make that work, let's give him something altogether different than your newbie friend has experienced so far. With a combination of Soul Survivor for instant 25 energy revives at range, and Subsumed Quiver for attachable bubbles of invisibility, your friend would have never felt so protected up to this point, all while still generating the bonus loot they so desperately crave. With Korra, it's less about support and more about showing them the full power of a farm-focused setup. Literally, a standard Korra pilfering and whipclaw setup is all you need, and your friend at this stage of the game will love you for it. Set up in whatever mission pays out the materials you need, and enjoy the sounds of excitement your friend makes watching the loot pile up. What's more, you can combine these two approaches. You bring the Korra, as she is the harder frame to farm for outside of Duviri, and your friend can bring Necros after the two of you obtain a set from a few runs of Magnesidium on Deimos. With that pairing, they'll feel less like a leech and more like part of a power combo. And finally, after some hours of careful frame choices to support them in their growth into a fully fledged loot goblin of a Tenno, they reach out with one more request. In those simple words, they unlock the final stage. Stage 4. The Hard Carry. Can you help me clear this mission? I just want it over with. The training wheels can come off. The hand-holding ends, no more walking in the shadow of the rookie, where you let them blossom in their own right. They'll get back to doing it at their own pace shortly, but right now, there's some obstacle in their way and they want your help making it disappear. You can unleash with any part of your arsenal at this stage. There's a litany of guides, many on this very channel, on how you can reach levels of power overwhelming with frame and weapon alike. Let's focus two options in particular, a defense farm and a spy farm. For the spy mission, They want a certain spy mod and aren't willing to trade for it. They need your help crushing the spy mission on repeat. You were born for this, Tenno. Or rather, Wukong was. All the duration, all the starting energy, Cloudwalker just bypasses everything. You don't need to be good when doing spy missions as Wukong, you just need to keep using your 2. With this setup, not accounting for Arcane's triggering, it already provides 22 casts of Cloudwalker on spawn, for a total flight time of over 2 minutes. For added ease, subsume in perspicacity to both save on ciphers, if you use them, and to have auto-hacking available even in sorties and similar. Natural talent speeds up the casting, as it does take a couple seconds. With Arcane Steadfast, this provides more than enough cloudwalking and auto-hacks to complete any spy mission with 0 hassle. All your newbie friend has to do now is get to extraction quickly, tell them to head straight for C, and you'll have extraction unlocked by the time they reach it. With the spy missions farmed, they ask for help on defense. Now, defense missions will have a significant number of enemies in drip-fed waves for you to take out, spawning from multiple angles simultaneously. For this reason, you'll want to have a decent, focused setup. I mean, sure, you could go around killing all the enemies one by one, but that's not going to be anywhere near as impressive to your newbie friend as a proper room clear setup. One of the joys of fighting on low-level missions is that ability damage actually still works down at this tier. Like this Banshee here. She's not on screen for the fun of it, she's actually doing the job of it solo. Did you ever get the impression defense was supposed to take a long time? Not if you specialize, it doesn't. By building a null line of sight, high burst damage, obscene range frame, you can remove all enemies from the map without even needing to look at a single one of them. Now, this does come with the downside of extreme energy cost, but you're a well-skilled player supporting your rookie. Obliterate their understanding of the game by spamming your keybind for energy pizzas to fuel the resonating quakes. Oh, would you look at that? The mission wasn't even long enough for me to finish my point. This is the build that just did that. There's Equilibrium and Arcane Energize trying to eke out the most energy from the scattered dying enemies. Otherwise, Raw and Resonating Quake give us the power to wipe them from the map. You will be spending energy pieces on this setup, but it has all the power to make good on that. If you want something less resource intensive and more self-sufficient, swapping out Raw for Dispensary and Augur Reach for Prime Continuity can achieve just that. The range drops from 280% to 250%, but the extra duration means Dispensary lasts for 19 seconds. This setup is using 4 Talforged Crimson Shards for extra strength and 1 shard for casting speed, because of course you have that, if you're flexing such a specific room wipe for your rookie friend. In all seriousness, the extra strength is a big deal for both clearance and energy economy, so it is worth investing in if you're doing this. Again, there are other frames that can do the same job in other ways too. A common suggestion for defense missions is Gara, although verticality will get in the way of her on maps like Lith. She's far more potent, however, on missions like Helene. Take what suits your playstyle and the map you'll be running on. With that, you've now set your friend onto a path of absolute power fantasy. They started out pondering through missions, knowing their buddy was by their side to buff them and walk them through the early steps. By the end of stage 4, they know that balance is an illusion, and so the rookie reaches stage 5, fashion. I don't seem to have a single clip for this. I guess I'll leave that as an exercise for you, the viewer. That's all from me on this topic, so as always, buff friends, blap rooms, and fight well, Tenno.